So much marketing training that gets shoved down our throats these days focuses on how to attract clients. But what do you do when you are attracting clients, but they're not exactly the ones you want? Maybe you're attracting clients who just don't have the budget to work with you. Or maybe they aren't quite at the stage of their career or life or business or health where you can really help them. Or maybe, and there's really no nice way of saying this, maybe you're just not attracting the caliber of people who you truly want to work with. In today's video, we're going to look at why that might be happening and what you need to do with your marketing message to subtly push away the wrong people and start to call in more of the right people. Now, it's kind of hard to broach this subject without sounding like a little bit of a judgmental jerk, but let me be clear here. This is not a question of being elitist or snobby or thinking that working with a certain level of person is just beneath you. It's a question of creating the type of business and doing the type of work that you truly want to do with the people that you really love to work with. And it's about understanding that not every offer is right for every person. And if your messaging is attracting people who aren't a good fit for your offer, well, that's no good for anyone. It's a waste of their time, it's definitely a waste of your time, and you're actually just going to leave them feeling really disappointed, not to mention probably a little lost when they thought that you could be the one person who could help them, only to realize that your 10K offer is just way out of their league. So your current audience are coming to you because your messaging and your offers are calling them in. So if you're calling in the wrong people, you need to pivot your messaging to push those people away and attract more of these people instead. So what do we do about it? Well, you need to start by getting really honest with yourself about who you want to work with and why. Because it might have been quite a while now since you sat down and really thought about your ideal client avatar. And if your business has evolved, it's most likely time that your avatar evolves as well. But as you're thinking about your ideal client, there's a real key question that I want you to consider. How far along the journey is this person? And what I mean by that is, let's say for argument's sake that you are a career coach. And in the early years of your business, you were focused on helping people who were fresh out of university and they were looking to get their foot in the door with an amazing graduate position and really get established in their early career. So your ideal clients were still fairly early in their career journey. But if we fast forward them a few years down the track, maybe now they're looking to step up into a leadership role for the first time. If we fast forward them a bit further along that journey, maybe now they're in middle management and they want to know how they can get noticed by the bigwigs so that they can, break into the executive levels of leadership. Even further down that career journey, maybe now they are an executive and they've reached the so-called pinnacle of their career. But now they're realizing, maybe this is not all it's cracked up to be. And now they're daydreaming about throwing in the towel on the corporate life and buying an apple farm in the country. There is a whole journey that your clients will travel across their career. And as they move along that journey, the problems they have to deal with will change. Their frustrations will change, their needs, their desires, their motivators will change, and their life will change. Because when they were a fresh-faced graduate, they were probably single and had no kids in tow. And their primary motivation was probably, how to hit that six-figure salary as quickly as possible. But by the time they've become the CEO, they might now have teenage kids who they can't connect with because they've spent the last 15 years grinding away at work. So maybe their motivation has switched to how can they become more family oriented, right? So when you started your business, your clients might have been at point A on that journey. But as you have evolved in your skill set as a coach, as your own interests have changed, as your life has changed, have you reevaluated whether your ideal clients have moved further along that journey too? And how have their problems, frustrations, their needs, their desires, their motivators changed as a result? Now, the good news is you don't have to set fire to everything you have and start all over again, because it's often the subtlest of shifts that allow you to speak more directly to the person who is further along that journey. And you can use your messaging to subtly push away the graduate level people by saying things like, you've been in this industry long enough to know that an extra 10K on your salary isn't necessarily worth sacrificing precious time with your kids. Can you see how that type of messaging just isn't going to connect with the graduates because that's not the stage of life that they're at right now? But it will connect with the people who are far enough along that journey to be rethinking their priorities. So ask yourself, have your clients moved further along that journey? And as a result, how have their problems, frustrations, needs, desires, and motivators changed? And how do you need to pivot your messaging and your offers so that you can meet the right people exactly where they are along that journey? But what if the problem is not how far along that journey they are? What if you do want to work with beginners, for example? But what if you haven't been attracting the right caliber of beginners? Because there are some beginners who don't have a clue what they're doing and they really need your guidance, but they're the type of people who are driven, ambitious, who are super eager to learn and ready to take action. And there are others who are like, oh, this is too hard and that won't work for me. And yeah, I know you literally gave me the exact steps I need to follow, but I thought about it for a little while and I just really figured that I just kind of don't want to. Maybe you've met a few of them in your time. So you might have been speaking to people at the exact right place along the journey who have the exact right level of skills or knowledge, but the mismatch, that disconnect between who you want to be working with and who is raising their hands, is more a reflection of their character. Now, this was something that I experienced in the early years of my business because I was trying to attract beginners. And the people I was trying to attract were struggling to get their first clients under their belt. They were feeling overwhelmed by all of the conflicting advice that they were getting. They were trying like lots of different things and they were feeling like, just nothing's working for me. Like that was my ideal client. And so that was what I would speak to in my messaging. But I would get on calls with people who would be like, I just can't get any clients and I'm so overwhelmed and I've tried everything and nothing's working. And look, I totally understood that exasperation because we've all been there, right? But when I would try to coach those people through that frustration, I would get, oh, I've tried that, but it just doesn't work for me, or it just doesn't work in my niche. Like I would just get brick wall after brick wall. And I was just like thinking like, geez, why do I keep attracting these people who just want to whinge but aren't really prepared to actually do anything about it? But when I looked at my messaging, I realized I was literally calling them in. I was saying, have you tried everything and nothing seems to work? Are you feeling overwhelmed? Do you sometimes wonder if it's time to throw in the towel? Because there's a key difference that my messaging was ignoring. There are some of us who will have that exact experience and decide that nothing is going to work, so there is no point trying. And there are some of us who have that exact experience and decide that we are not going to stop until we figure it out. So I needed to recognize that difference in people's character and start to incorporate that difference into my messaging as well. So I still spoke to the problem of struggling to get their first clients. I still spoke to the overwhelm of not being able to figure it out. But I added in a new flavor that said, like, even though you're feeling so overwhelmed by all the advice that's getting thrown your way, you also know deep down that you are so close and you know you're not the kind of person who's going to give up that easily. And you 100% believe that if you could just get these puzzle pieces to click together, there's going to be no stopping you. Can you see how that subtle shift speaks to the character of the person I want to attract, not just their stage of business? Someone who is still struggling with the same problem, but who sees it differently, who will respond differently, and who would probably be a lot more fun for me to work with and would also likely get far better results from my coaching too. So if the mismatch between who you are currently attracting and who you want to attract is more of a question of their character as opposed to their skills or knowledge, have a look at your current messaging and ask yourself, what is it that I'm saying right now that is making that person feel like this work is for them? And how can I remove some of that language from my messaging and speak more to the character of the people I really want to attract instead? Now, you might be watching this thinking, well, that's great, Mel. I realize that my messaging has been attracting the wrong type of clients. But how do I make that pivot and start to call in a higher caliber of people without alienating my existing audience or feeling like I've literally got to burn everything down that I've created and start all over again? Well, I want to help you with that. Very soon, I'm hosting an exclusive private training where I'm going to pull back the curtain on the framework I teach my clients to add oomph to your words and elevate your messaging and your offers to attract the right kind of clients and boost your conversions at every single step in your funnel. Now, I have never shared this framework publicly before, and I do want to make sure that this training is going to be a really great fit for you. So if you want to join me for that training, all you need to do is follow the link below to apply. And if we feel like this training is going to be a good fit for where you are right now in your business and your future goals, we will send you an invitation to join us. So check out the description below for that link to apply, and I can't wait to see you there. In the meantime, I'd love to hear from you. If you feel like you're not attracting the right caliber of clients right now, where do you think that mismatch is coming from? Is it a question of how far they are along that journey, or is it more of a question of their character? Let me know in the comments below. If this video has been helpful for you, let me and the YouTube algorithm know by giving this video a like. And if you would like to see more videos just like this one, I would love you to hit that subscribe button to get notified every time I post a new video. And if you want more messaging and marketing tips to help you stand out online, I'm going to leave a link to a couple of my favorite videos right here for you to check out. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.